Good evening and welcome, fans, to another ESTV3 sports presentation. I'm Diego Sanchez here at a fog-shrouded Hazeltine Field, where tonight the Eagles are hosting the Cardinals of Lawndale in what is the Pioneer League opener for both of these squads. Now, before further ado, let's go down to the field for a little more detail on this game from our sideline reporter, Jessica Wills.
Thanks, Diego. The Eagles and the Cardinals are both coming off of devastating losses, and they're trying to give their season a fresh new start tonight. Segundo is coming off of a bye week, and I spoke to head coach Steve Shevlin and asked him what his plan was for the last 2 weeks of practice to get his team refocused. He said that coming off the loss, he really just wanted to simplify things and get everything back to the basics for his team. His approach against Lawndale tonight is to stop their offense. Lawndale runs a wing T offense, and he said they really just need to slow down their run game and not let them utilize all of the clock. We'll see if the 2 weeks of practice have given the Eagles what they need to succeed in a win tonight. Diego, back to you.
Thanks, Jessica. Indeed, both of these teams coming off of very tough losses. Segundo, as you mentioned, with the bye week, which should help them forget a little bit, if you will, or at least lessen the pain of those memories of that 18-17 loss to Oak Park after Segundo had led 17-0 at the half. For their part, Lawndale had a 21-0 lead slip away against Linwood, I believe, and you know, they gave up 22 straight points in the second half. They were leading 24-7. They lost that game 29-24 to Linwood. So, and they have not had the bye week. So, tough losses for both of these teams, and now it's league. So, big game for both of these teams. Let's see who can step forward and turn it around. The Eagles, once again, will face a pretty tough defensive line. They've got some big people on that defensive line, and it'll be up to the Eagles to strategize a way to better take care of their quarterback, Daniel Zeman, and we'll see whether they can do it. Eagles will be kicking off. They have Zach Stone will do the honors, and let's see who's back deep. I believe it's Deron Frost, as well as Tyler Young, number 3. Frost is number 1. So we are all set to go here. And it's a little pooch kick. And it drops nicely, and it's fielded by Michael Watkins, who finally falls on it at about the 19. Well, let's see, was that Watkins, or was it number 8? Tone Lee was actually the player. I thought it was Tone Lee as opposed to Tone Loke. And that ball is at the 20. So they got a pretty good spot. And that's where Lawndale takes over, 1st and 10. They're missing their top running back. Gary Hill is out with a twisted left ankle. They feature that double wing T, so they're going to be running the ball a lot, and that's what happens on this first play, and it's a big gainer up the middle, and that one was Timothy Jones for about 9 yards. And let's see, they're going to give him a first down, I think, so they're going to give him 10 yards. He runs behind a big offensive line. The center is 6 foot, 304 pounds, senior Eric Torrance. The right guard is 6'3", 314 pounds, Brandon Lee. And that's where they were running on that play. Then the right tackle is also 6'3", 292 pounds, a sophomore, Winston Brown. So you get the kind of feeling of the kind of heft that they got on that line. Now here comes Watkins, and we got a flag on the play, and a good defensive play by Nick Port to hold that to no gain. But let's see what this flag is all about. And it's a holding against Lawndale. So perhaps Segundo might decline this penalty. Well, maybe not. We'll see what happens. They might take the down and just, you know, because no, they're going to take the penalty. So it'll be 1st and 20 from the 20. And We're just underway here with no score between the Cardinals and the Eagles. Quarterback Kalen Henderson under center. And the give is up the middle again, and this time the gain is about 3 or 4 yards. Again, I believe that was Timothy Jones. So maybe they're going to give him 5. Well, about 4. So 2nd and 16. Young is the wide receiver out to the left. Tyler Young. There's a single setback. That's Jones. There's somebody in motion. And the give is it's to Jones, and there's a fumble. The ball is loose. And let's see who came up with this. There's a lot of moisture in the air, and it looks like the Eagles have recovered. I saw McKenna come out with the ball, I believe. Seth McKenna. And at least that's who had it when I saw it. And a big turnover early in the game here. And the Eagles, well, now I'm hearing that maybe it was Ramirez who had the recovery. Anyway, the Eagles will take over well inside Lawndale territory at about the 25 of Lawndale, maybe the 26. Zeman back to pass, a quick hitter up the middle, a slant in, and that's complete to Kirk. And it's a gain of almost 50, well, about 15 yards, let's call it. The ball is on the 10. It's going to be a 1st and goal to goal. And the Eagles in business right away. Only a couple of minutes gone in this game. And the Eagles trying to take advantage of a fumble by Lawndale. There's a give to Bonham, and he's going to go untouched into the end zone. Touchdown. So the defense there just allowed Kyle Bonham to saunter into the end zone for his 3rd touchdown of the year. And the Eagles have a quick 6-0 lead over Lawndale. There's a happy coach, Shevlin, although he doesn't look that happy. He's waving traffic into the game, trying to get the right people in there for this point after try. And looks like Brasher was the one who was lagging a little bit. Here comes the point after try off the foot of Stewart, and it's good. So the Eagles with a 7-0 lead as a result of the turnover by 24, Timothy Jones. Now we have a flag on the field. Let's see what this is all about. Well, looks like they're going to have to do this again. Let's see. No, I take it. Well, I did not see a signal yet. But it looks like the Eagles are going to have to kick again. So it was offsides by the Eagles, illegal motion. Somebody moved. So now they're going to have to re-kick this point after try. So the point comes off the board. Stewart's going to have to do it again. The ball could get slick. There's a lot of fog, a lot of moisture in the air. They get the snap down, the kick is up, and it looks good, and it is good. So point goes back on the board. This time there's no flags, and so the point will stay on the board. And the Eagles get a little bit of an early gift here. And so El Segundo will kick off, and they lead at 7-0, and it's the same tandem back to receive. Looks like Frost and Young back deep. So there's another sort of little pooch kick, and this time it's Young ran up and fielded it cleanly and got a pretty good little run back to about the 29, 30-yard line. I think they're going to spot it on the 30, and that's where Lawndale will take over on its 30. First drive for Lawndale resulted in a fumble. Now they're going to try different back up. It's William Self. He's the up back. And the give is to him, and he picks up big yardage. He breaks loose. He's to the 50, 45, 40, 35, 30. He's still going, and he's going to go all the way. Wow. First time touching the ball, and William Self just busts it for a 70-yard scamper, and I don't see any flags on the field. Somebody almost had him. I think it was one of the secondary, but they could not stop him. And Self just blows by everybody and notches 6 on a 70-yard touchdown scamper. Wow. So here comes Morales for the point after try. And now we've got also a late comer on this, a little bit of a special teams mix-up. The kick is up, and it is good. So we're all tied up here. And Lawndale didn't waste any time answering that. And the defense for El Segundo just was not able to corral William Self. Wow. He played quite a bit against Peninsula, did Self, in a game a couple of weeks ago. I'll tell you exactly when that game was. And he stepped in, I think, because Gary Hill was injured. And, boy, he's going to get a lot of time if he is a 5'11", 200-pound sophomore, excuse me. And he just showed what he can do on that run. That was outstanding. So, all tied up here. And now the kickoff from Morales, looks like back deep for El Segundo, is Bonham. Well, Bonham's trying to corral this ball, and he does near the far sideline. Then he kind of runs it back very briefly for maybe 5 yards, maybe 4 yards. The field's got to be getting a little slippery as this moisture hits it. The synthetic field. The Eagles will take over on their 18. So very entertaining start to this game thus far, as both teams have been able to score touchdowns. The Eagles cashing in a Lawndale turnover, and Lawndale breaking off a very long run. Zeman pitching to Bonham. Bonham finds a little bit of room, but not that much. Picks up a couple of yards, 2 or 3 yards, maybe 4 yards. And he's brought down there. I believe that was Banuelos, Carlos Banuelos. There's Coach Shevlin. Let's see who that is, checking out some paperwork next to him, some plays. Well, can't quite see. Well, they gave him about 5 yards, so 2nd and 5, let's call it, at the 23. He's rolling out. Zeman, he's got his man sliding down with the catch on that far sideline is Jamie Stewart. And let's see if that was enough for the first down. I believe it will be. And they're going to move the markers. So the ball is placed at the 30, let's say. Pickup of about 7, 1st and 10. Stewart came into this game 11 catches, 214 yards, 3 touchdowns. I'll give you Zeman's stats in just a second. Zeman's getting blitzed. He gets rid of it over the middle. Famey with a nice pickup. Picks up about 10 yards before Banuelos brings him down. Zeman came into this game 70 completions, 115 attempts, I believe. 961 yards, 8 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions. He kept his poise nicely there. El Segundo did a good job of picking up the blitz. So 1st and 10. Well, they're going to say he didn't get the first down. I thought he got it. 2nd and inches, and that's going to be a first down. And now Bonham is brought down by Adonis Johnson after a pickup of about 5 or 6 yards. We have a flag, and I think this is going to be a face mask on Johnson. No, they're going to say it's a holding on El Segundo. Well, so much for that run, and this so much for that first down. This is going to negate a first down run, and it's going to set up a 2nd and long for El Segundo. This ball being placed all the way back to the 35 of the Eagles. Looks like. No, at the 30, excuse me. Got that wrong. At the 30 of the Eagles. And it's a 2nd and 10 as a result of the penalty. Stone is wide to the left. He's looking left. It's a little screen to Bonham. Bonham gets some running room, but picks up some yardage, not a lot, maybe 4 or 5 yards before he is brought down by, let's see, that was Janique Collins brought him down. And bring up about a 3rd and 5. And big play for the Eagles. They want to keep this ball away from Lawndale. 6:50 left in the first quarter, all tied up at 7. And it's a draw, and Bonham is going to pick up the first down. He's across the 40. Collins brought him down, and he also had some help from Banuelos, but not before the first down was picked up by, he's all the way to the 42. And the Eagles moving the ball on the ground there. And maybe that's going to be a little bit of the strategy, is to take some of the heat off of Zeman, because there are some big kids on that defensive line. They're going to be, Zeman's gets rid of it again. He's got Brasher to midfield. Brasher is across midfield to the 46. And Janique Collins again was the tackler, but big gain there, about 15 yards. And the Eagles now in Lawndale territory. Well, it was more like 13 yards. But first down for the Eagles, and they keep the clock running. Zach Stone is wide to the right. I think Stewart and Famier to the left, but it's a give up the middle, and this time it's Brasher, and he is pounding ahead for about 8 or 9 yards. So the Eagles powering ahead on the ground right here. That's going to bring up a 2nd and 1. Well, they're going to say 2nd and 2, let's say. Famey in the slot to the left. Stewart wide to the left. Stone and let's see, who is that? Stone and Kirk are to the right. Single setback. Looking left is Zeman. He's in trouble. Gets away from the heat, and he makes a nice throw and completion out to Stewart. And Stewart is pushed out of bounds, but not before he picks up about 9 yards and another first down on that far sideline. So the Eagles putting together a nice little drive here. They've moved it all the way to the 27 of Lawndale. There's your band. Feeling good about this game thus far. There's Bonham, the single setback. It looks like a little confusion. Not the right personnel is not in the game, perhaps. Somebody was, now El Segundo forced to take a timeout as Famey was trying to run onto the field late there. I'm not sure whether there was an equipment problem with one of the players or what happened. but El Segundo forced to take a timeout. 5 minutes left here in the first quarter, all tied up at 7 between Lawndale and El Segundo in this Pioneer League opener. There's Coach Shevlin talking to the troops. This is the first really sustained drive for either team in this game, as El Segundo had a short little drive. I think it was 2 or 3 plays that after that turnover that resulted in the El Segundo touchdown, capped by that little 10-yard run up the middle by Kyle Bonham. And Lawndale's score was just one play, a 70-yard scamper. There you see behind Steve Shevlin, kind of, it looks like a little bit of rain, but it's not. It's just a heavy mist here. 1st and 10, out of the shotgun. Looks like H-backs next to Zeman. He's stepping up in the pocket. He's going over the middle, throwing into traffic. That was a little bit of a dangerous throw. He got away with it. It was intended for Seth McKenna, and the defender was Duron Frost. Incomplete. So that'll bring up a 2nd and 10. That's one thing that the Eagles, I'm sure, talked about, trying to stay away from turnovers. They've been averaging, well, about almost 2 turnovers a game. So they really want to stay away from that. Zeman stepping up in the pocket. Let's see if he's going to run for it. I think, well, he is, and he paid the price on that far sideline as he is corralled. But I don't think he's any worse for the wear there, but it's going to bring up a 3rd down now and long. There was no gain on that play. There wasn't really any loss either, though. I don't think. It's 3rd and 10. So well, maybe they lost half a yard. It's 3rd and long in any case. Stone and Kirk are to the right. He seems to be looking over the middle. Or no, he's to the right, and there's a incomplete pass. I think that was never really caught. Famey was really pounded after he, caught the ball, but I don't think that was really ruled a catch. At any rate, it's going to be a 4th down, and El Segundo is potentially in 4-down territory, but it looks like they might go for the kick, for the field goal rather. Jamie Stewart is out on the field. Now there's confusion as to what they're doing. And boy, El Segundo forced to take another timeout. This is not good. They've burned another timeout, and I'm just not sure why they needed to use that one there. So unfortunately, El Segundo forced to take another timeout. They only have 1 left here in the first half, and it just seemed like they were confused about what they wanted to do in that instance. Maybe they didn't have the right personnel. I see Casey Gardner counting players. You just can't have that happen. You got to know who's. If you're supposed to be out there in a field goal situation, you got to get yourself out there. Casey looking a little annoyed there, and I'm sure he is. So it is going to be a field goal attempt, and it's going to be a long one. It's going to be about a 45-yard field goal attempt. And in this heavy, moist air, this is going to take some doing. So out of the hold of McKenna is Stewart. I would say this is about the limit of his ability. The kick is up, and it is not good. It's just short. So I don't know if the snap was a little bit funky there. They got it down, but he could not get the distance on that he needed. And on a tough night like this, where there's a lot of moisture up in the air, the field goal attempt is no good. So Lawndale will take over now on its 20, looks like the 20, let's see, where are they going to put this ball? No, it's at the 20. So they're going to stick with William Self, understandably so, after that last run he pulled off. So Henderson under center. And did he keep this ball? This is the thing about the double wing tee. I think actually he gave it to Watkins. It's tough to see who gets the ball, and it was Watkins, and he picked up pretty decent yardage. Picked up about 5 yards, 2nd and 5. Coming up on 4 minutes left here in the first quarter, and a 7-7 game between Lawndale and El Segundo in this Pioneer League opener at Hazeltine Field, the renovated Hazeltine Field. Now, Self and Watkins are in the backfield, kind of H-backs. And it looks like it looks like a keeper this time. It's the quarterback keeper, Henderson. And he picks up about 4 yards. He picked up a little bit more than that. He picked up a first down. So it's a first down. He picked up about 6 or 7 yards. Henderson has a pretty good rushing stat. 60 rushes, 280 yards. 5 touchdowns. They've got multiple people who can run the ball on this Lawndale team. 1st and 10 from the Lawndale 32. I'll call it the 33. There's Watkins. He is chased down that time. Good defensive play by Dakota McAllister. Watkins picks up maybe 2 or 3. 2nd and 7. There's Coach Shevlin looking on. So 2nd down and 6 yards more or less. Henderson, they will very rarely throw the ball. It's pretty much a running offense. And this time it's Flowers who gets the ball, and he's going around left end. And over there, good defensive play for Keener was one of those making the tackle. And but you know, they still picked up about 3 yards, 4 yards. It's going to bring up a 3rd and short, 3rd and about 1.5 or something like that. And ball is at the just shy of the 43 of Lawndale. That was Flowers' first touch in this game. Self and Watkins are in the backfield. And it's Self, and he is wrapped up. I don't think he got it. Kirk led the charge there for El Segundo. Also in on that tackle was Justin Ramirez, and let's see where they spot the ball. I don't think he got this first down. He's going to be a little bit shy. They might have to measure, or maybe not. Well, let's see if Lawndale goes for it. It's 4th and maybe half a yard. Let's see. It looks like they're going to go for it. There's the crowd looking on with some anxiety, I guess. And it's a quarterback keeper, and Henderson's still on his feet. He picks up 6, 7 yards. So first down there. Kalen Henderson, the quarterback, who is not overly big, but he showed some toughness on that run. Picked up about 6 yards. Maybe, yeah, 7 yards. So in El Segundo territory now at the Eagle 49, and Lawndale moving the ball and chewing up some clock. A minute left in the first quarter. Deron Frost is split wide to the right. There goes Flowers in motion, and there's a fumble. I think Flowers came up with it as there was some confusion there. It looked like they were going to pass the ball for the first time. I think Flowers came up with the ball. Indeed, it was Dominic Flowers who recovered that fumble, but it was a loss of several yards. And it's going to bring up a 2nd and 14. this will be the last play more than likely in this first quarter. And there's a give to Watkins, and this is trouble, and he is brought down in the secondary before he could go too much longer by Jamie Stewart, but picks up about 15 yards, and that's the end of the first quarter with the score all tied up between Lawndale and El Segundo, 7-7. So a very entertaining first quarter, a little bit of everything. Not much passing by Lawndale, of course, but there you have El Segundo's Dakota McAllister getting a little bit of hydration going. But we had a long run, a couple of long drives, well, one long drive by El Segundo, which ultimately did not result in points. We had a turnover by Lawndale, which El Segundo did turn into points. And we had that electrifying run by William Self, the running back for Lawndale, a 70-yarder. So all tied up in a game that promises to be, I think, close all the way through, I would imagine. There's Dan Heck, defensive coordinator, defensive coach for the Eagles. So now the ball is on the El Segundo 43-yard line. So that was a pickup of about 11 yards on that run by Watkins. And that's where Lawndale starts this second quarter. And there they moved too early, so that's going to cost them 5 yards, I believe. And I guess they had the wrong count there. And this will push them back close to midfield. It'll be at the 48 of El Segundo. So Frost is coming in with a play from the sideline. Coach John Guilfoyle is in his second year as the head coach. There's Coach Shevlin. But Guilfoyle for Lawndale in his second year as head coach. Lawndale resurrected their program about, well, the school was closed for a while, and they opened up in 2005 again. Here's Watson with a little scamper for about 5-6 yards. He is brought down. Let's see who got him there. I believe that was Nick Post. And it's going to bring up a fourth down and about 5 yards roughly. Let's see if Lawndale goes for it. The ball is on the El Segundo side, so they might go for it here. And now it looks like Lawndale will take their first time out to try and talk this over. This is a big decision because if you fail, obviously you're going to give the Eagles very good field position. And maybe that's what Coach Guilfoyle wants to consider before making this decision. Coach Shevlin talking to some of the troops there. So far this game pretty much going according to script, if you will. I mean, Lawndale, all their yards in the first quarter was on the ground. 114 yards on the ground for Lawndale in that first quarter. El Segundo 60 yards through the air, 30 yards on the ground. Here comes, that's going to be close. I think he might have gotten it, Flowers, but it depends on how they spot this ball. And if they're going to give it to him way up there, that's a first down. So ball all the way to the 37 on that fourth down play. And a first down for Lawndale. So Lawndale moving the ball here on the ground. They have yet to throw a pass in this game. And we are 1 minute into the second quarter. Here's Watkins. Self and Watkins are in the backfield. And it looks like it's going to be Self. Fumble, and the Eagles have this one. So Self fumbles this time. I'm trying to see who came up with it, and I did not quite catch that, but a happy outcome for the Eagles. So the Eagles now take over on their 37. And there's a pitch to Bonham, and Bonham plows ahead for about, we're going to give him maybe 4 or 5 yards there. And he looks like he's a little bit shaken up. Let's see if he's okay. Now he gets up. He's going to the sideline, but I think he's going to be okay. Maybe he got the wind knocked out. So 2nd and 4. They're going to give him 6 on that play. Ball just shy of the 43 of El Segundo. Zeman out of the shotgun, looking deep for Stewart. He's got him. He's got it to the 20, to the 10, and he is, well, let's see. They're going to say he's out of bounds, shy of the goal line. But that is a big-time play as Stewart got behind the secondary. Somebody blew an assignment in that secondary, and he was, they're going to say he's out of bounds at the 5. So that's going to be a 52-yard aerial strike and puts the ball at the Lawndale 5. 1st and goal to goal for the Eagles. Seaman to Bonham. Bonham up the middle. This time the defense stiffens, but he picks up 2 or 3 yards. It's going to be 2nd and goal. So now they'll put this ball at about the Lawndale 2-yard line. It's a stacked backfield. They got Ray Johnson in the backfield, and he's going to, and that did, let's see, is that a touchdown? Did Johnson get the ball? What happened here? Ray Johnson got a touchdown there. I never saw a touchdown signal. Oh, he fumbled. It was a fumble. So they tried giving it to Ray Johnson, and the Eagles fumbled. I thought he would be used as a blocker in that play. Maybe there was confusion as to who was supposed to get the ball. Well, I didn't see the play very clearly. I saw Johnson in the backfield. And the Eagles fumbled away a golden opportunity. There was not a clean handoff there. I just never saw a clean handoff. And the Eagles really, I thought somebody had gotten the ball and gotten it. Well, now there's a big loss there as Lawndale's running attack was stymied by the Eagles. I would love to see that play again. They had a stacked backfield. They had a lineman in the backfield, Ray Johnson. And it was a botched play. They fumbled the ball. Now we got a man down. Number 4 is the quarterback, Kalen Henderson. This would be a big loss for Lawndale, and he looks like he is really hurting. And I did not see what happened, but he looks to be in a great deal of pain. And if he can't go, they're going to have to go with his backup, who is Isaiah Simon. He does not look like he is in good shape. This young man, he is holding his, looks like his right leg, whether it's the knee or not, I don't want to speculate, but whatever it is, it's causing him a good deal of pain. And so we have a stoppage of play with about 9 minutes left in the first half. And El Segundo fumbled away a golden opportunity there to go ahead in this game. They had the ball at the 2-yard line, 2nd and goal, and they fumbled the ball, whether it was Brasher who fumbled or the lineman, Ray Johnson. I'm not sure who was supposed to get that ball, but or maybe Zeman got confused about who to give it to. Something went badly wrong on that play. Now here's Henderson. He's up and walking, but with some assistance. And I don't think he's going to be back, at least not in this first half, that's for sure. I'd be very surprised. And here comes Simon, number 7. Isaiah Simon is going to be the quarterback. So a big loss for Lawndale. Simon has played some in this year because Henderson has been injured off and on. So Simon under center. And the give is up the middle for a gain of maybe 3 or 4 yards. Let's see who's at the bottom of that pile. It was Self who picked up the yardage. So now they're back close to the original line of scrimmage, but it's going to be a 3rd and real long yardage. So 3rd and 12, let's call it. The ball on the 17 or 18 of Lawndale. Tone Lee is split wide to the right, way wide. I don't think he's so far out of the play. I don't think the quarterback could even reach him if it went out there. And they try to run, but El Segundo is all over that. Looks like Brasher was the one making the tackle as Flower was just trying to pick up a first down, but he didn't even come close. The gain was of 3. They got 3 or 4 yards. They needed about 12, so they're going to be forced to punt, and this is the first punt for Romeo Bryant. He will be punting out of the snap of Adonis Johnson, I believe. The snap is pretty good, and the punt is real good. He punts it way over Flowers' head. He's a big kid, Romeo Bryant. He's 6'4", 240, which is why he got a lot of leg on that one. And Flowers is going to have to get back a little further if he, Kendall Brown, excuse me, is going to have to get back a little further if he wants to, especially with, he's got the prevailing breeze with him, although there's not much wind tonight. Anyway, El Segundo will not get very good field position. They will take over on their 20. I saw the official there rubbing the ball down, drying it off. So this slick ball is having some effect on this game. There have been several fumbles in this game thus far. 2 by, there's Brasher. Big yardage, up the middle. He's still going, up to midfield, across midfield. Austin Brasher with a big run, and I don't see any flags. So that's a 33-yard run all the way into Lawndale territory. So El Segundo now will move 1st and 10 from the Lawndale 47. We have 6:40 left in the first half. It's tied up 7-7 between the Cardinals and the Eagles. Out of the shotgun now, Zeman gets the snap. He's got to get rid of it. He does. He's going deep, and he's got his man. It's complete. Stone out there on an island. Zach Stone beat the defender, Tyler Young, and it's a big gain. All the way down to about the 13-yard line, so that is a 34-yard strike. First and 10 for the Eagles. Zeman back to pass, looking into the end zone. He's got his man Stewart, but it's broken up at the last second. Looked like Flowers might have gotten a hand in there to break that up. He was looking for well, I'm not sure if that was Famey or Stewart. It wouldn't be the first time I've mistaken them. 6:20 left here. This is going to be a 2nd down and 10. It's Famey out to the left, as well as Brown. Out of the shotgun, looking left, throwing into the end zone, and it's through Flowers' hand. I keep calling him Flowers. It's Brown, Kendall Brown. Looked like he had a chance to catch that ball, just couldn't corral it. So this is going to be a 3rd down and 10. And let's see who's in the game. Brasher's in there. Famey's going out to the right. Kirk, Famey, and Stone are out to the right. And Brown is the single player to the left, and this time Zeman gets whacked. Oh boy, ouch. And that was some big load landing on him. And it's good to see that he's okay, but that's a loss of several yards and might push them to the edge of field goal range. They should be able to kick from here. It'll be a much shorter field goal than they attempted before. It'll be a 30. Well, was there another fumble? Well, there was a fumble on that play, excuse me. So Zeman fumbled as he was pounded. I did not see the ball come out. I never saw the ball come out, nor did I see it being recovered. But in any case, another fumble for the Eagles. That's the 2nd one when they were in scoring position, and this is the kind of thing that comes back to haunt you late in the game. So Self there. We hope that doesn't happen, but you cannot keep fumbling these scoring opportunities away. So now it's Lawndale ball, and Self got the first carry there, and it's all the way to the 32 of Lawndale. 5.5 minutes left in the first half. There's the first pass for Lawndale, and it's incomplete. They were looking for Watkins, but the throw was a little high. So that'll bring up a 3rd and about 3 or 4. Looks like Frost and Banuelos they've got 3 receivers in this set to the right. One of them is in motion now, that's Flowers, but the give is to Self, and he didn't get anything. Good defensive play, good defensive stand. So 4th down, and now they'll be forced to punt. Johnson was in on that tackle. So looks like Romeo Bryant will come on to punt, and let's see if the adjustment is made by Brown, because that last one was punted over his head. He's going back a little deeper this time. Looks like Brown is going to set up on his 25 to try and field this punt. And this time it's a line drive, but it's going to take a big bounce. And here's Brown to the 40, to the 45. Now there's a flag, 50, to the 40, 30. He's going to go all the way, but it's going to come back as there was a flag thrown by one of the officials. And I don't think that this run is going to stand, unfortunately, for the Eagles. And the Eagles just cannot catch a break here. Let's see what the call is, and that's what it's going to be against the Eagles. They're going to say it's an illegal block. And now we have another late flag. So now we have an unsportsmanlike against the Eagles. Looks like they were pointing to Justin Lacey, number 1 of the Eagles, one of the officials. So now this is really going to be a double whammy. Not only will they lose the run back, they're going to get pushed even back further. Somebody must have said something down on the field that one of the officials didn't like. And, well, yeah, it's an unsportsmanlike. Boy, this is really going to push the Eagles back. You just have to control your emotions. If you feel that, you know, a bad call was made, you just got to suck it up. Oh, well. At any rate, the Eagles will get this ball on their 20 after all of that. And let's see if they can. There's only 4.5 minutes left in the first half. 7-7 is the score. And let's see if the Eagles can play mistake-free football here and drive this ball down the field. And there's Bonham, and he is brought down after a very minimal gain. I think it was Brandon Lee who brought him down. He is a big, big kid. 6'3", 314 pounds. I would not want him landing on me. Short gain, 2nd and long. Looks like Famey in the slot, Kirk as well, and who is it? Stone out wide. The ball is thrown, and it's thrown too high, and it's called an incomplete pass right away. So 3rd and long now for the Eagles. So Zeman's out of the shotgun. He's airing it out. He's looking for Stewart, and he runs under it and makes the catch. All the way to the 40 or 41 of Lawndale. And again, on that play, who got beat there? Number 3, Tyler Young. And Stewart just kind of threw that way up there. I'm sorry, Zeman just threw that way up there, and Stewart was allowed to run under it. That's a big play. Picks up 40 yards on that strike, all the way to the Lawndale 40. So Zeman putting up some pretty good yardage numbers. They're just not scoring because every time they get near the end zone, they make a mistake. They got to. Here's another bomb. He's looking. Well, let's see. It's caught, but is it inbounds? And they say it is. And this one is to Zach Stone on that far sideline. And that time it was Watkins who got beat. And the ball is all the way down to the 5 of Lawndale. So that's a 35-yard bomb. So one was a 40-yard bomb, and the other one was a 35-yard bomb, and or 34-yard bomb. And he's picked up 74 yards on 2 plays. Crazy. Okay, 1st and goal to goal. Stewart and Famey are to the left. And there's a run up the middle, and it's Brasher. So Brasher with a 6-yard touchdown scamper. And the Eagles take the lead here late in the second quarter. So quite an electrifying drive there as the Eagles just bit off huge chunks of yardage on long throws by Daniel Zeman. The point after is good, and the Eagles lead it 14-7. So a lot of long scoring plays in this game. Well, I should say a lot of long plays in this game. The scoring plays have been, for the Eagles, have been sort of medium-sized, little runs. For Lawndale, one very long run. So now the kickoff back to Young and Frost. Let's see if Stone kicks it kind of into that little dead zone in front of the deep return men. Yeah, he does. That's exactly what he does. And this time it's fielded nicely by Frost, who goes for that far sideline. And he is brought down after he gets across the 30. Out there on the tackle, it was McAllister. So 1st and 10 for Lawndale at the 32, at their 32. So just over 3 minutes left in the first half, with the Eagles leading at 14-7 after just scoring on a couple of long bombs and then a short run by Brasher. And I'm surprised, but Henderson is back in this game, so he's tough. He's showing some toughness. This time it's Flowers, and he picks up pretty decent yardage. Picks up about 7 or 8 up the middle. Let's call it 7. It's going to bring up a 2nd and 3. That'll keep the clock running. 2:45 left in the first half. Self is the single setback. There goes Watkins in motion. The give is to, it's a Watson, and he got around the far end. Watkins, I should say, and picked up pretty big yardage. Big yardage. Picked up about 20 yards, maybe a little bit more. Well, let's see where they spot it. They spotted at the El Segundo 45. So not quite as much as I thought. But 16 yards. And it was so deceptive. I never really saw who had the ball there. Flowers and Watkins are the, Watkins is in motion, but Self gets the give, and he picks up a few yards before Brasher and Kirk wrap him up, picked up maybe 3. So now it's a 2nd and 7, and we have 2 minutes left here in the first half. Ball is inside El Segundo territory at the 44 of El Segundo. Lawndale trying to keep one of these long drives going. There's the give. No, they're going to pass the ball, and it's complete to Banuelos, and that's a big pickup. That's the second pass they've thrown, first completion, and that one fooled me. I thought they were going to run the ball. They run so often that you really don't expect the pass after a while, and that's a big pickup. They picked up, they put it all the way down to the 23, So they picked up about 21 yards on that one. There you see Coach Shevlin. Who's he talking to? Zeman, I believe. So first and 10 from the, let's see, now we got flags. This ball at about the 23 of El Segundo, but there's motion against Lawndale. So this will push him back to about the 28. This will be first and 15. We're under a minute left here in the first half. Henderson's going to pass again. This time it's going to be up for grabs, and he was looking for Frost, but he overthrew him on that far sideline. So that is going to be a second and 15 now from the 28 of El Segundo. They need to get this ball closer if they want to try a field goal, but they seem to be intent on throwing the ball all of a sudden. Maybe trying to get El Segundo to think about something else other than the run. Self is the single setback. The wings are Watkins and Flowers. And Flowers is going to get the ball. He's going around left end and he slips down. Well, he picked up maybe 4 yards. Maybe. This is going to bring up a third and very long. They're not even going to give him 4 yards. Going to give him a couple of yards. That's about it. The ball now on the El Segundo 26. So it's third and long. And I believe a timeout has been called by Lawndale here. And they will have just one left after that one. So 42 seconds left. There's Coach Shevlin discussing things with his staff. And there you see, if you look at the black on your screen, well, so much for that. You can see the moisture falling. Brutally hot here for the last couple of days, and today the ocean fog took over. So the high pressure broke down and the fog just rolled in at about 5 p.m. this afternoon. And it was very thick. And we are quite near the coast here, so it's, you know, the elements are having something to do with this game as the moisture is settling on that ball, and I think it's caused some of these fumbles. So third and long, Henderson under center. Looks like Self is the single setback. There goes Watkins. Self got the ball. He's up the middle. He's still going, and I believe he's going to be short of the first down. But he picked up, well, he picked up about 9 or 10 yards. The ball all the way to the El Segundo 17-yard line, and he is short by about 3 yards. Let's see if they're going to go or kick. And that's what Henderson is looking at his sideline for. There's 15 seconds left here. They're going to have to call a timeout, or else this half is going to run out. Now they call timeout, and there's 8 seconds left, and they called the timeout. They got a 4th down and about 3, and well, looks like they're going to kick a field goal because Morales is on the field. Christian Morales. I don't have any statistics on what kind of length he's capable of. This will be about a 35-yarder out of the hold of Kalen Henderson. So that's, well, they will be forced to kick off, I believe, because this play is not going to take up 8.2 seconds. So whatever happens here, there will be another play in this half, I believe. So here we go. 35-yard attempt by the sophomore, 5'4", 140 pounds. So he's not a big kid, but it's up and it is good. So Morales puts it through, and that makes the score 14-10 El Segundo. So a tight game here at Hazeltine Field. So they will be forced to kick off, as I said, which is interesting. They should have let the clock run down further if they really just intended for that field goal to be the last play of the half. Now they're forced to kick off, and that will give El Segundo an opportunity to perhaps do something with the run back here. So 4 seconds, 3.9, let's call it 4. And 14-10 your score in favor of the Eagles. And now Lawndale will be kicking off. Morales will be kicking off. El Segundo is bringing their deep men up. Bonham is now at his 20, and Brown is at the 29. There's really no deep men here. So it looks like El Segundo will just let this ball go into the end zone, and that way I don't think any time runs off the clock, I believe. So here comes Morales' kick, and it's kind of like a little squibber that's going to go out of bounds. Now, I would have just let that go out of bounds. Why field it? So, well, El Segundo's going to have a play here. From their 35, they will be able to run a play. Now, the question is, do you want, well, why not throw a bomb? From their 36, but you don't want your quarterback to get sacked and perhaps fumble. So, you know, they got a lot of kids that are huge on that defensive line, and you don't want your quarterback to be exposed to any punishment by any of those kids. So I think El Segundo is just going to kneel, and that's what's going to happen. So that's the end of the first half. The score is El Segundo Eagles 14 and Lawndale Cardinals 10. Keep it right here. We've got, let's go down to the field. We've got Jessica Wills, who's got Coach Shevlin on the sideline.
Coach, your offense has been successful, particularly your passing game has been pretty well. There's a couple missed opportunities in the red zone with some fumbles. How do you improve your red zone offense the second half?
We just got to hand the ball off to the right guy. You know, we practice that package. We run it in practice a lot. We ran it again today, this morning, and you know, just mental mistakes. Young quarterback, he knows he's making the mistake, and I feel maybe we don't go to that package the rest of this game and just try to work it, try and score through other means.
Defensively, you've held them to 1 touchdown. What's your message for the defense in the locker room?
I think we're going to stop the long plays. I think we're playing really well. You know, we gave them that one trap play that they ran for a long run, but you know, we're playing really well there. We just got to capitalize on the turnovers when we have the opportunities, and we got to put the ball in the red zone when we have the opportunities.
Good luck in the second half. Thank you.
Thanks, Jessica. Well, let's keep it right here for your halftime entertainment. And again, remember, if you would like to purchase a CD of this game, you can always contact the studio at 310-524-2720. The CDs cost $15, or you can do it through email, elsegundotv@elsegundo.org. That's your email address, should you wish to purchase one of those CDs for $15. Now let's take a look at some of the fine halftime entertainment from the El Segundo Marching Band. So we're just about set for second half action after that wonderful entertainment from the band. El Segundo will receive, leading it 14-10 over Lawndale. And some quick stats provided by Bob Binder, halftime stats. El Segundo had the edge in first downs, 10-7. Lawndale had the edge in rushing. They rushed the ball 25 times for 167 yards. El Segundo just 12 times for 70 yards. But of course, El Segundo had the edge in passing. Completed 10 out of 15 for 222 yards versus only 1 out of 3 for 23 yards for Lawndale. Total yards, El Segundo had the edge, 291 to 190. And turnovers 2 apiece. Penalties were fairly even. El Segundo committed one more. And the time of possession, Lawndale dominated that, 14 minutes, 48 seconds to 9 minutes and 12 seconds for El Segundo. Here's a short kickoff that goes out of bounds. So El Segundo will get this ball, I believe they're going to get it at their 35 after that short kickoff. I believe that's how that works. Let's see, there's a flag that's getting penalty that gets assessed when you kick it out of bounds. That's short. Let's see. So first down for the Eagles as they lead it by 4. And we're just about underway here out of the shotgun as Zeman. The give is to Bonham. Bonham sidesteps a couple of tacklers in the backfield and does a good job to eke out maybe a half a yard. Banuelos almost got him in the backfield. Picked up a yard, let's say. So 2nd and 9. Looks like Stewart is wide to the left. Stone is wide to the right. Play action. Zeman with time. Over the middle for Kirk. It's complete. He was wide open. And it's a pickup of about 26, 27 yards all the way to the 37 of Lawndale. So 27 yards on that strike. And the Unique Collins on the tackle, but not before a big gain for the Eagles. Now Zeman will continue out of the shotgun, 1st and 10. Brasher gets the give. Not much there as he was brought down quite quickly. Let's see, who got him? Was that 82? It might have been Romeo Bryant on the tackle. Short pickup of maybe a yard, maybe half a yard. Let's just call it 2nd and 9.5. And now it's going to be Stone out wide to the right. Looks like Stewart's to the left. Brasher and Bonham in the backfield. Play action, rolling out, gets rid of it to Brasher. The throw is a little high, and Zeman got popped after he let go of that pass. And Brasher just couldn't corral it. 3rd and long. Ball was just a little high. 2 inches lower, and I think Brasher gets it. And now, let's see what they're going to, I believe he's going to be out of the shot. No, he's going to be under center. Looks like Zeman. Single setback. Is that Brasher back there? I believe it is. Most of the receivers, it's to the right. There's a short little pass to, it was intended for Brown, and it was overthrown again. And boy, he was lucky that wasn't picked off. And so that's going to bring up a 4th and long. So it's a punting situation for the Eagles. So I believe this is the first punt by the Eagles this evening. And it's going to be McAllister. He's going to be hitting this one right around midfield. Back deep, it looks like it's Frost. It is. There's somebody in motion, which is kind of unusual, and it's a fake punt. And it looks like Stewart, he's got his man wide open, and it's complete. And that's Underwood. Well, the man in motion should have given it away to Lawndale that something was up there. But Underwood was wide open, and it's a pickup of about 16 yards, maybe 15 yards, all the way to the 22 of Lawndale. So a fake punt. And it was executed nicely as Jamie Stewart threw that pass. So 1st and 10 for the Eagles all the way at the 22 of Lawndale. Zeman under center. Gives to Bonham. Bonham up the middle. Minimal pickup. Picks up maybe 3 before being brought down there. Let's see who got him. Was that 78? I think Ramirez. So it'll bring up a 2nd and 7, let's say. The ball now inside the 15 of Lawndale. Let's call it at the 14. Well, let's call it 2nd and 6, let's say. And let's see, it's Stone out to the right. We got, looks like Famey's in the slot. Famey gets this quick toss, and he is brought down quickly by Unique Collins. And no gain there as Collins was all over that play. Janique Collins made a good play and a good read. So 3rd and, let's call it 6 still. Ball is at the, looks like it's at the 12, 13. It's at the 13. I'm going to give him a yard on that one. Let's see who is. Looks like Stone and Famey are to the right. That's where he's looking. Zeman's scrambling now. He's in trouble, and he is sacked, and that's not where you want to take a sack there. Eric Torrance got him, the big senior, 6 foot, 304 pounds. And now this will bring out the field goal team, I would think. But it's going to be a 35-yarder as he lost a few yards there. And that's what's going to happen here. It looks like that's the first sack I believe Zeman suffered today. So the Eagles have done a better job of protecting him, and he's been a little bit more aware. But on that play, he took the sack, which was unfortunate because it's going to make this field goal try a little longer. It's about a 36, 37-yarder. The snap is good. The hold is down. The kick is up, and it is good off the foot of Jamie Stewart. So now the Eagles forge ahead by 17-0 after that 37-yard field goal. So with 7:50 left in the third, the Eagles are up now by a touchdown, 17-10. So pretty decent drive there by the Eagles. They did some things, moved the ball, and had to settle for 3 ultimately as the defense stiffened for Lawndale a little bit. There's Coach Shevlin looking on. He's got to be happy with that opening drive. Came away with some points. And now the Eagles will kick off. And it's Frost and Young back deep to receive this kick off of, looks like Zach Stone is going to kick off. And another little pooch kick. Very shallow and kind of a fair catch there by Tone Lee. And pretty decent field position for Lawndale at the 30. So there must be some sort of strategy. Maybe they don't want to put this ball into the hands of those deep men because they're dangerous, obviously. So first drive of the third quarter, of the second half, I should say, for Lawndale will start at the Lawndale 30. Henderson, the give is to Watkins. Watkins looking for room. He finds some, but then the hole closes, but not before Watkins picks up some decent yardage. McAllister brought him down with some help, but he picks up, well, 7 yards. So 2nd and 3. Ball all the way to the 37. Looks like Frost is going to be the wide receiver here. He comes out of the huddle early and is split wide to the left. Watkins and Flowers are the wing backs. And it looks like Self is, there goes Watkins in motion, and he gets Flowers, and he gets the ball, and Flowers is around the left end and picks up pretty good yardage. First down, and all the way to the 47, it looks like. So they picked up pretty good yardage there. And the move the chains will Lawndale. So 1st and 10, Henderson under center. There goes Watkins in motion. He's going to keep it. Henderson around left end into El Segundo territory, and he is hit, and he looks like he's a little bit shaken up. And it's to the El Segundo 47, but down is Henderson on the El Segundo sideline. And he is shaken up. And I did not see exactly what happened, but Henderson is down, the Lawndale quarterback, on this near sideline. And he is still down. Now being tended to by staff, by some El Segundo staff, and nobody from the Lawndale sideline has gotten over here yet. Let's see if he can get up. I'm a little concerned because he hasn't been. He's not up yet. Now he's up. And he is favoring that right leg, which is, I think, what was giving him problems earlier in the game, and now he's not even putting any weight on it at all. So we're going to see Isaiah Simon again in this game. And boy, this time he really looks laid up, does Henderson. I don't think we're going to see him again. I mean, I said that before and I was wrong, but this time he is just not putting any weight at all. Now he's not putting any weight on either leg. So that keeper cost Lawndale their quarterback, at least for now. So they've got a 2nd and about 4. They're inside El Segundo territory at the 47. Simon is to Flowers. Flowers around the right end, and he picks up the first down. And all the way to the El Segundo 43. I believe that's going to be a first down over there. And it is. Kind of a sparse crowd, especially on the more so on the Lawndale side, not so much on the El Segundo side. 1st and 10. Simon now the quarterback. Self and Watkins in the backfield. Fumble! And let's see who got this ball. And El Segundo recovers. That was Dakota McAllister coming out with it. And the switching quarterbacks hurting Lawndale, as much of that offense really relies so much on ball handling. And Simon couldn't handle it cleanly there, and there was a fumble, and El Segundo will be happy to take over on its 38-yard line. So now El Segundo looking to put some distance between themselves and Lawndale. Seaman over the middle, a short one to Brasher. Brasher with a short little pickup. before being brought down by Hezekiah Kinslow, and pickup of about 4, 2nd and 6. Well, now they put it at they gave him a pretty good spot. Well, no, it's 4. At the El Segundo 42. Second and 6. Stewart and Famey are out to the left. He's looking over the middle as Zeman. Now he's in trouble, and he's going to be sacked. He's not going to lose much yardage, but Romeo Bryant got him. And it's basically a no-gain type situation. Maybe they give him a yard. 3rd and 5. Now what do we have? We got a timeout, or what's going on? We don't have anybody down on the ground. I don't know what this is all about. I don't see anybody down. They're sending some El Segundo staff to take a look, medical staff to look at the quarterback who was injured, Henderson. So they ran across the field, and they're going to be taking a look at him on the sideline. So third and 5, a long 5. Let's call it more like 6. Zeman, the draw. Brasher is still on his feet, fighting for yardage, and I think he got the first down. So great fighting by Austin Brasher. He kept his legs going. Came into this game with 237 yards on 42 carries, and he really did it. He did a lot on his own there, and he picked up that first down, and that keeps the chains moving, keeps the clocks running. That's big for El Segundo. The ball now up around midfield, so he picked up 8 yards there. Big run by Austin Brasher. 4:10 left here in the third. El Segundo leading at 17 to 10 over Lawndale. Here's Brasher again, pounding for just a couple of yards, this time into Lawndale territory. They're going to spot it at the Lawndale 47. Stone is wide to the right, Stewart to the left. I formation. Brasher's going to get the give again, and this time he spins for big yardage. Picks up close to a first down. He's almost there. He's at they're going to spot it. It depends where they spot it. They spot it at the 42. It's going to be 3rd and about 1.5. So moving the ball, El Segundo, and controlling the clock right here. 3 minutes left in the third, and now we have a timeout. Let's see, what is the call here? Who called timeout? Must have been Lawndale. Yeah, so Lawndale called timeout. Trying to get a blow for their players, I'm sure, as you know, they've been out on the field quite a bit in this third quarter, and maybe they're wearing down just a little bit. Coach Shevlin getting his players to the sideline where he wants to talk it over for just a moment. El Segundo leading at 17 to 10. The scores, let's see if I can summarize. I believe Bonham, it was a 10-yard run. And then there was another run that was a 6-yarder by Brasher. So those are the 2 touchdowns, Bonham and Brasher, and then the field goal by Stewart. So that's the scoring for El Segundo. The field goal was a 37-yarder for Lawndale. It was a long run by Self, 70-yarder. Well, here's this 3rd down play. The rollout, the throw, it's good. Kirk makes the catch. Then he dropped it. Let's see if they say it's complete. I believe they are going to say it's complete. Frost was trying to convince the referees otherwise, but he's not going to win that battle. And the ball is all the way to the 35 now of Lawndale. And this will keep the chains moving again. So El Segundo really controlling the clock on this drive. And they're grinding it down slowly but surely. 1st and 10 from the Lawndale 35. Zeman under center. There's a play action rolling out. He finds Brasher for about 4 or 5 yards before he is tackled by Junique Collins. So the ball will be placed at about the 31 of Lawndale, I believe. That's where they're gonna, well, that's closer to the 32 really. So not, you know, he picked up about 3 yards. 2nd and 7. Now about 2 minutes left in the third. El Segundo taking a lot of time in between plays, and I think this might be by design. They got to be careful not to get caught on a delay of game. Zeman under center. He's got 3 receivers to his right and 1 to the left. And what did he do there? Oh, this is an unusual play. Thrown to Brasher, and he airs it out for Zach Stone. I can't believe that was designed that way. I mean, the ball must have slipped out of Zeman's hands, and they bounced right up into Brasher's hands. It was supposed to be a flea flicker, but that ball slipped out of Zeman's hands. And it, okay. Well, I guess it was designed that way because you can't have. Well, I've never seen a play quite like that. If that was a design play, I've never seen it. The point after try is good. And I've got people up here in the booth saying that's a design play. It's an artificial turf play. Well, I've never seen anything like it. Because what if that takes a funny bounce and bounces away from Brasher? I mean, what if it just takes a funny bounce and bounces away from him? Then you got a big fumble and a big loss. I mean, if that's designed, I've never seen anything like it. At any rate, it worked beautifully. If it was designed, he spiked it looked like he did it on purpose. He spiked the ball, it bounced right up to Brasher, and then Brasher aired it out for Zach Stone, and is a 32-yard touchdown flea flicker. The most bizarre flea flicker I've ever seen. Anyway, 24-10 is your score right now. El Segundo has taken charge here in the third quarter. Now they've just got to make sure not to let up. Here's the kickoff from Stone. It's a squibber. It looks like Young's got it. He's up to the 20. He's up to the 30. He's still on his feet. And he's until about the 32 where he's smacked down by an El Segundo defender. So a minute and a half. There's Coach Shevlin speaking with, I believe that's Gene Engel. So 1st and 10 for Lawndale at their, let's say, 30. Here's Self pounding ahead for pretty decent yardage. Picked up about 7 or 8. Ball is at the 39 of Lawndale now. It's 2nd and short. Simon is the quarterback. Henderson is not coming back. I don't believe we're going to see him. Now we got flags all over the place. Somebody must have been in motion early, I believe, for Lawndale. Let's see what the call is. And that is the call. So this will hurt Lawndale. Pushes them back to their 34. .30 seconds left here in the third quarter. And this time it's another fumble, as who got into that backfield? I believe that was Johnny Kraus who blasted into the backfield and got to the quarterback before he could hand the ball off. Lawndale recovered, but they're going in the wrong direction, and that was the last play for them for the third quarter. And El Segundo is going to come out of this third quarter with a 24-10 lead over Lawndale, as they have taken control of this one. And they're looking good if they can just maintain their focus. And Lawndale is without their starting quarterback as well, so that's got to be in El Segundo's favor, obviously. So summarizing that third quarter was pretty much a lot of El Segundo. Lawndale did, I believe, well, let me just make sure here. It was 14-10 at the half. El Segundo got a 37-yard field goal from Stewart. And the flea flicker, of course. A 32-yard flea flicker to Stone. Zeman is now 15 out of 22 in this game for 260 yards. So he's pouring on some numbers. He's probably going to go over 300 yards in this game. And El Segundo has also rushed for 90 yards. So they've got 350 yards of total offense to the Eagles right now. Big output. There's somebody in motion. And again, now the defense for El Segundo is starting to get the hang of this double wing T. And that time, nothing doing for the player that got the handoff. It was Flowers. We haven't seen Timothy Jones. There's some of the crowd looking on. The player that fumbled early in this game for Lawndale. I haven't seen him back. So now it's going to be time to punt for Lawndale, and it's Romeo Bryant to punt. It's Brown back for El Segundo, Kendall Brown. Here's the kick. It's a high kick. There's not going to be any return here. And Brown got hit, and there's a flag. That's going to be the call. I mean, one of the kids, Adonis Johnson, just plowed into Kendall Brown, and so there's going to be a penalty against Lawndale here. And I mean, you can't. I think Brown was waving fair catch. He never did catch the ball, but you can't plow into the kid if there's Kendall Brown. He got hit pretty hard. You can't do that. So here's the call. And it is against Lawndale. So El Segundo is going to get really good field position here. And they can just put this game away if they, I don't know why there's a lot of discussion here between the officials. I mean, this was pretty clear cut as to where it happened and what happened. So this should just be cut and dried. And it's a 15-yarder. So the ball now is at midfield. And that's where the Eagles will take over with 11:06 left in this game, and the Eagles leading it 24-10. Now the Eagles have, let me see if I'm a little confused here as to these stats that I've been given. They have 393 yards of total offense. That's a lot of offense. And now they're wearing down Lawndale. You get the sense that Lawndale is wearing down. That time it was Bonham picking up about 5 or 6 yards. Right, Zeman is 15 for 22 for 260, but they have more passing yardage than that. They have another 51 yards because of the flea flickers and the trick plays. Okay, now I understand these stats. Here's another pass. Zeman stepping up in the pocket. He's going to keep it, and he was wise to slide feet first there. Picked up about 2 or 3 yards. It'll bring up a third and relatively short, 3rd and 3. Ball is at the 43 of Lawndale. So El Segundo, 393 yards of total offense, total yards. And they could have more points except for the turnovers in the red zone. Here's Zeman. The give is to Brasher, and he is brought down with I don't think he got the first down. This is going to be an interesting call now for Coach Shevlin, as he was brought down just shy in the first down, and it's 4th, and he comes away limping. So that's not good for the Eagles, as looks like Brasher's coming up a little gimpy after that play, and it's a 4th and 1, a long one. And the El Segundo Eagles have an interesting call to make with 9:15 left here in the game. They lead it by just 14 points. I would think you wouldn't want to punt here. Well, that's not the way they're going to go. They're going to go for the first down, 4th and 1. Let's see if Zeman keeps it. He does keep it. Well, he got the first down, but we got flags. So I think somebody moved or something happened. I think it might be against El Segundo. I could be wrong. Let's see. No, it's against Lawndale. So this will be a first down. Offsides against Lawndale. I thought he got the first down anyway, but this will make it no question about it, as they pick up those 5 yards on the penalty. And now the ball is at the 36 of Lawndale, and El Segundo's on the march, and they control the scoreboard, they control the clock right now, so this is looking good if you're an Eagles fan. There's a handoff, and there's a flag, and there's Bonham fighting for yardage, but there is a flag on this play. Let's see what that's all about. And it's holding against the Eagles, so that's going to push them back, and it's going to make for a 1st and long. And that's exactly the kind of mistake the Eagles didn't need right here, because it's going to force Zeman to put well, they're not really forced to put it up. They can keep running it and just trying to chew up as much clock as possible. But the Eagles are not generally that type of team with this much time left on the clock. They'll generally air it out, trying to seal this game. There's the rollout, there's the pass, and Kirk has it bounce off his knee. When he was trying to gather it in, I think he bounced it off his knee. So that's incomplete. So now it's 2nd and long. It looks like the fog is kind of let up a little bit here. And there's no wind to speak of. So now the conditions are ideal. Earlier on, there was a lot of fog and a lot of moisture in the air. I think that's kind of let up. So 2nd and about 25. Zeman to Stone. Stone is not going to get much of anything here. That play just did not work somehow. So pickup was minimal, maybe 2 yards, 1 yard, 2 yards, maybe nothing. So third and a mile here. And if you're El Segundo, you just got to, not try to do anything too fancy here. You got a 14-point lead. Just make sure that when you punt, you don't give Lawndale any kind of field position, and don't turn the ball over. Oh, and it's a quick kick. It's a punt on third down, and unfortunately it's going to roll into the end zone. That was a good try by El Segundo to pin him deep. Kendall Brown almost got there, but he didn't quite get there. And so it's going to be a touchback, and Lawndale gets it at the 20. That was an interesting play there. Didn't want to wait till fourth down. Wanted to maybe try and pin Lawndale inside their 5. It didn't quite work, but it almost, it came close to working. Okay, 1st and 10 for Lawndale. They've got their backup quarterback, Isaiah Simon, in there. Flowers is in motion. Simon, give is to Flowers. And he picked up, well, now he picked up a few yards. And picked up maybe 5. And it's going to bring up a 2nd and 5. Time, of course, now the enemy of the Lawndale Cardinals, as we're inside 7 minutes to play in this game. Simon back to pass over the middle, and it's incomplete. He was looking for Frost, and that ball was poorly thrown. He led Frost by far too much. So that'll bring up a 3rd and about 5. There's Coach Shevlin. Not sure where anyway. 3rd and 5. So 6:37 left in this one, and this is a big play for Lawndale. If they have any hope of getting back in this game here, they got to pick up this 1st down. In motion is Flowers. The give is to Self. El Segundo's all over this. I mean, Self just could not get any traction. As there were Ray Johnson, Brasher, there was a host of tacklers there. And that gained no yardage at all. So now it's 4th down, and they're going to have to punt this ball. Unless they want to go for it on 4th down. But that would be really kind of risky, to say the least, because the ball is deep in the Lawndale end of the field. It looks like they're going to go for it here. Okay, well, if they don't make it, this is pretty much lights out for Lawndale. They're going for it. Simon is under center. The give is to Self, and he picks up the 1st down. He bowls ahead for about 6 yards. So behind that big offensive line led by Eric Torrance, the 6-foot, 304-pound senior, they pick up the necessary yardage to keep the sticks moving. So the ball out to the 34 now, 1st and 10 for Lawndale. Unfortunately, this is all taking a little too long for the Cardinals. Well, unfortunately for the Cardinals. They're just not moving the ball fast enough. They don't really have much of a passing game. So 1st and 10. Well, here's a pass. They're airing it out. They're looking for a man. It's intercepted. Intercepted. That's McKenna. McKenna to the 50, to the 40. McKenna inside the 40, spinning to the 30. And he's at the 25, where he's finally brought down. Let's see. Well, I didn't quite see who the tackler was, but big interception, and that's going to be all she wrote in this game. As Seth McKenna picked up the INT, and as I said, Lawndale not much of a passing game, and it showed there as Simon just threw up kind of a lollipop up there, and McKenna picked it off, and now we're inside 5 minutes left in the game, and El Segundo leading it by 14. All they have to do is just stay focused, run the ball a few times, and here's the pitch to Bonham. There's Kirk blocking out front. Bonham picks up minimal yardage, maybe one, maybe a half yard, but the important thing is this will keep the clock running and maybe force Lawndale to take their timeouts. Let's see if they do so. Well, they're not going to give them any yards there. So 2nd and 10, but the clock is running, 4.5 minutes left in this one. Zeman into the end zone, and he's got Brown. No, it's incomplete. I thought he had him, but he was well defended there. Not sure if Frost was back there or... maybe Flowers was also back there. At any rate, it was a pretty good throw by Zeman. It just pretty good defense as well. So this is 3rd and 10. El Segundo needs to get positive yardage on this play to at least get a field goal here. There's a poor throw. That was just too low of a throw by Zeman. He got it out to Stewart, but Stewart couldn't run with that ball because it was just thrown too low. So they lost yardage actually on that play. Lost about a yard, and that was not a particularly great drive after the interception. So now it's 4th and 11, and it looks like they're going to let Stewart try a field goal. It's going to be a real long one. It's going to be about 40, well, it's a 44-yarder. Out of McKenna's hold. And it is up, and it looks good. So Stewart with a 44-yard field goal. Good job there by the youngster, Jamie Stewart. And that puts this one out of reach. So El Segundo leading it now 27-10. And Stewart has had a good game kicking the ball. That is his 2nd field goal. And the Eagles will come away victorious. I feel pretty confident saying that. Less than 3.5 minutes left, and they lead it by 17. And Lawndale just hasn't shown the ability to pass the ball. They had one long play offensively early in this game where they popped William Self for a 70-yard run, but other than that, they haven't been able to really do a whole lot offensively. Looks like Stone will kick off. Frost and Young back deep to receive. They've been kicking away from these two. They've been kicking short. And they kick short again. It's a little squibber that's going to go out of bounds, it looks like. So that one will come out to the 35 for Lawndale. So in that instance, I think the Eagles would have been better off letting somebody field that because it would have allowed a little bit of time to run off the clock. But maybe they just really don't want to let any return occur for fear that there might be a big run back, and that would give Lawndale a little momentum. They just don't want that. So 1st and 10 for Lawndale at the 35. And Simon will be under center. He's got Self in the backfield. Watkins and Flowers are the wing backs. There goes Watkins in motion. He's keeping it. He's going to throw it. And he's airing it out deep. He's looking for Flowers, and McKenna is going to pick it off again. So McKenna having a field day back there, picking off this quarterback. I'm trying to see. He is a senior quarterback. Let's see. We have flags on the field? Oh, yes, we do. What are they? I did not see any signal from the officials yet. Is this going to... What is the call here? Well, I don't see what the call is. Well, it's positive for Lawndale, whatever the call was. I would like to see a call. I still haven't seen it. Holding against El Segundo. Okay, so the ball is placed now at the 45 of Lawndale, and Lawndale catches a break here. I didn't see what happened there, but it's favorable to Lawndale, certainly, as it would have been El Segundo ball had that play stood. We've got 3 minutes left here, so not much Lawndale can really do. There's a give. This time is to Watkins, and Watkins is going to go all the way. As soon as I said that, El Segundo fell asleep on defense and let Watkins just run up the middle of the field. And, well, unbelievable. That was a 55-yard run right up the middle of the field, and the defense just fell asleep and lets Lawndale back into this game. So El Segundo's got a lot to learn about, the killer instinct and closing these games out. They're going to win this game, but boy, no reason to even have that happen. I mean, 55-yard run right up the middle by Michael Watkins. And the point after is good. Nobody touched him. So the defense just sort of took a play off there. They got confused as to who had the ball maybe. I don't know. They over pursued. I don't know what happened there, but they blew it. Let's put it that way. And now they're going to have to regroup. The offense is going to have to regroup and put together a decent drive, put this game away. They had the ball given to them after that last interception by McKenna, the one that stood at the 25 of Lawndale, and they didn't do anything. You got to at least get some positive. Well, I shouldn't say they didn't do anything. They got a field goal out of it, but they didn't get any yards. They didn't chew up any clock. I mean, that was a situation where they could have put the game away completely. So now, 27-17 your score. The crowd has to hold its breath a little bit. You got to believe El Segundo is going to run the ball. Well, they're lining up as if an onside kick is coming here, which it probably is. Let's see, and it is, and it's not well executed. And El Segundo will recover easily. Let's see, that one was kicked a little too hard, and it went right to Matt Keener, and he had no trouble corralling that ball, and El Segundo gets good field position. So 2:52 left in the game. 27-17 the score. El Segundo in the lead. And it'll be interesting to see how they choose to go about this. I would force them to take their timeouts. I would run the ball and force them to take their timeouts, but we'll see how Coach Shevlin wants to do it. And he runs it, and boy, that defense stood up there. Bonham lost yardage as he was savaged by Eric Torrance, that big kid. But you know what? The clock is running, and they're not taking their timeout. So now there's 2.5 minutes left. And it's second and long, second and about 13. Ball is at the El Segundo 40. Here's play action. Zeman gets it out this time to Ramirez. Ramirez across midfield. That's Justin Ramirez, who normally doesn't play much offense. but he did on that play. And he picked up pretty big yardage and a first down. Ball all the way to the 42 of Lawndale. That's a big first down because it stops the bad momentum, or the Lawndale momentum, if you will. And it brings the clock down to 2 minutes left. Now El Segundo, a little confusion as to the personnel they want in the game. That's the first offensive touch Ramirez has in this game, that's for sure. There's a give this time. Let's see who got that give. It was up the middle. And this time it was Dakota McAllister. Picked up about 3 yards. And it's interesting that right now Lawndale is not taking its timeouts because time is running out here in this game. So, second and about 7. Zeman to Bonham. Bonham almost had the ball stripped, but he did a good job of hanging on to it, and he did a good job of picking up about 2 or 3 yards. So now we're inside a minute, and it's 3rd down and about 4, and I can't believe Lawndale's not going to call a timeout. It doesn't make any sense. Well, El Segundo can just take time off the clock if Lawndale's not going to call timeout. So 39 seconds. El Segundo's nursing this 10-point lead. It looks like they're going to come away with the victory, as I said. But Zeman, 3rd and about 4. The give to Bonham. Bonham gets the first down, and more. Bonham finally brought down, but not before he gets to about the 22 of Lawndale, and that's going to be it. I mean, El Segundo gets a fresh set of downs now, and that's all she wrote. So they're moving the chains, but the time is running out here, and Lawndale never used their 2 timeouts, which is sort of inexplicable. I don't understand that, but maybe they felt they were too far behind. I don't know. So Eagles come away with a victory. The final score is 27-17, and they're going to go to 1-0 in the Pioneer League, and they'll even their overall record at 3-3. Lawndale will fall to 1-5 and 0-1 in Pioneer League. So big yardage put forth by the Eagles offensively tonight. So they took better care of Daniel Zeman. He wasn't sacked very much, maybe just once or twice tonight. I think just once, if I remember correctly, but don't hold me to that. And Zeman put up some big numbers. In general, the El Segundo offense put up big numbers, and a well-deserved victory over a team that, you know, does some things, but Lawndale just does not have enough of a balanced attack. That if they fall behind, it's tough for them to come back. They really rely almost exclusively on the run, and El Segundo was able to get a lead and nurse the lead throughout this game. So big win for El Segundo. Wipes away a little bit of that bitter taste after that nasty loss to Oak Park 2 weeks ago. And 27-17 final. El Segundo, let's see some of the final statistics being given to me. 17 of 26 was Zeman for 278 yards. He didn't throw for any touchdowns. Bonham got a touchdown. Well, no, let's see. The throw. The throw was from Brasher. Did have a passing touchdown. Anyway, they had a some tricky plays there that they were able to pull off. But the big numbers were Siemens, 17 out of 26 for 278, and overall, the overall total yards were 437 for El Segundo, so that's a huge number. Let's go down to the field for just a moment to Jessica Wills, our sideline reporter.
I'm here with head coach Steve Shevlin. Coach, congratulations on your win. Talk to me tonight about how important it was for getting a win after last game's loss and tonight being the first league game of the season.
Yeah, you know, really more important about the league win right now. Having a chance to go 1-0 kind of sets the table for the rest of the season. There's a couple games that we feel we have to win to have a shot to go. This was one of them. It's not an easy challenge. You know, we're a younger team, and I thought we did a really good job trying to get past Oak Park and that loss. But really focusing on, like I said earlier, you know, fundamentals, trying to do things right, run the ball well, and threw the ball when we had to. Thought Daniel played a great game throwing the ball around tonight, and the O-line pass protected really well. And I thought defense was solid, so that's what you hope happens when you come back from a week off.
Talk to me a little more about your quarterback. How key was he in tonight's win?
Huge, you know. I mean, he's played really well all year, but we have to throw the ball more effectively. We looked at the Oak Park film. We ran the ball really well, but we didn't throw the ball well. We needed to stay more balanced and take advantage of our wide receivers, take advantage of Daniel's arm. So if we can do that effectively the rest of the way, I feel, you know, we can compete and at least challenge for every victory in each game.
Congratulations again on the win. Go celebrate with your team. Back to you.
Thanks, Jessica. Well, the final, once again, El Segundo with a 27-17 win over Lawndale. They go 1-0 in Pioneer League, and they look forward to facing Torrance next. And a happy outcome here at Hazeltine Field. I'm Diego Sanchez for ESTV3 Sports. Francisco Castillo, our director, and Jessica Wills down on the sideline. Good night from Hazeltine Field.